stands for State Transport Authority Ticket System, and this video has been made to help refresh your memory on the system procedures from sign-on to sign-off. The magnetic strip ticket was introduced to overcome most, if not all, of the shortcomings of the Allmix ticket system. With this system, the State Transport Authority is able to obtain a more detailed range of statistics for analysis. It is highly resistant to fraud, vandalism and theft. It has reduced the form-filling workload on bus operators, and as you have already found, with practice, the system is simple to operate. It is no longer necessary to enter ticket numbers on a revenue journal or running journal. Also, when you log off on a bus, the blank ticket that you insert into the validator will have printed on it the amount of money that you should pay in. This will be explained in detail later. Before you are able to start work, you are required to sign on. Some depots have a marshal's office and others a depot's clerk location where operators sign on. At a depot where there is a marshal's office, you will sign on in that area and collect your running journal, and if taking a bus out of depot, the wallet for your run number containing the working timetable, biscuit and clock key. Next, proceed to the revenue counter and collect bundles of blank tickets if required and a cassette. Each bundle of tickets will consist of 200 tickets, and it is suggested that you always start your shift with approximately 400 tickets. At depots where there is a depot clerk, both sign-on procedures will be carried out in the revenue area. To sign on at the revenue pay-in terminal, you first press the SS Start Shift button and the display will show Insert Cassette. Remember, the cassette must be used by you for the whole of your shift and should not be left on any bus when you leave it. To insert cassette, lift the flap, ensure that the hole in the cassette is on the left side nearest to the display, place the cassette into the slot and fully depress. The display will now show Insert Pass. This pass is made of PVC plastic and has replaced the STA medallion that was used for free travel on bus, tram or train. Your badge number and PIN, that is personal identification number, is recorded on the magnetic strip on the back of the plastic pass. It is your responsibility to remember your PIN number. This pass must be carried by you at all times, and it will be valid until the 31st of December each year. Be sure to insert your pass into the validator in the direction of the arrow printed on the pass. The information on your pass is now being recorded onto the cassette and the display is showing Wait. When the transfer of information is complete, the display shows Remove Cassette. After completing your running journal, you are now ready to proceed to your bus. The bus control unit will function only when the bus mains power switch is on. With this ticket system, it is necessary to log on whenever you take charge of a bus and to log off before handing over your bus to another operator or leaving the bus in depot. Before you log on or insert your cassette, you should first check the time and date. This applies to all buses departing from depot, but not when you are taking charge of a bus on the road. To do this, press FC, that is, Function button, and the display will show Function with a question mark. Next, press the button 0, and the display will show time in the 24-hour clock. To change the time, key in 4 numbers. After keying in 2 numbers, the letter H for hour will show automatically. For example, if you key in 8:03, the display shows 80H3, which is not the correct time. So press button C 3 times, once for each figure, to clear display back to time. Remember, to change the time, it is essential to key in 4 numbers for the display to show 08H03. When the time is correct, press SD, that is Send button, and this will store the time shown on the display in the bus control unit, and the display will then show Date. To change the date, it is necessary to key in 3 pairs of numbers. For example, if the date was the 19th of May 1987, and you keyed in only 5 numbers, the display would show 1958-7, which is not the correct date. So press button C 5 times to clear display back to date. Key in 3 pairs of numbers for the display to show 1905-87. When the date is correct, press SD button to store the date and the display will return to the normal mode. As you can see, the display is now divided into an upper and lower section. In the upper section to the left is the time, and to the right the letter O for off-peak or P for peak period. In the lower section from left to right, the display shows route number, zone number, direction plus away from the city or minus towards the city, and the section number. The procedure to log on, whether you are taking charge of a bus in the depot or out on the road, is exactly the same. First, press the SS Start Shift button on the bus control unit and the display will show Insert Cassette. To insert the cassette, lift the flap, ensure that the hole in the cassette is on the left side, nearest the display, place cassette into the slot and fully depress. The display will now show PIN with a question mark. When the 4 numbers are keyed in, notice that only 4 dashes appear on the display. This is because your PIN is confidential. If an incorrect PIN is keyed in, after pressing the SD button, the display will show Invalid PIN. Should this occur, press button C and the display will return to PIN with a question mark. Key in the correct PIN, press the SD button and the display will show Run. Key in the run number, press the SD button and the display will show Vehicle. Key in vehicle number, press the SD button and the display will show Route. This particular display is known as the ticket code and will be explained in detail in the section dealing with on-road procedures. This operator is going to Jepp's Cross Route 222, but he has keyed in 216. If you make a mistake like this, when keying the required information, always remember to press button C to clear the display in order to start again. 222 is keyed, press the SD button and the display will show direction, plus or minus. Remember, plus is away from the city and minus is towards the city. To change the direction, press the plus and minus button once only, and then press the SD button and the display will show Stop. This mode represents the section number, not the bus stop number. Key in the section number, press the SD button and the display will show Zone. Key in the zone number, press the SD button and the display will show Wait for approximately 2 seconds before the display changes to the ticket sales mode. The important character in this display is the asterisk in the lower section on the extreme right. This indicates that tickets may now be sold. The only passengers who are permitted to travel on the State Transport Authority vehicles without being required to validate a ticket or pass will be the 3 categories of blind persons, that is, the totally blind, sometimes with a guide dog, the partially blind with a long cane, and the partially blind with no stick. Also, St John's volunteers wearing grey or black uniforms with white shirts, police officers in uniform, and totally and permanently incapacitated people. All State Transport Authority employees, when travelling passenger on authority vehicles, must validate their passes on boarding. This rule only applies when you are not in uniform. Here is an example of how to sell 2 types of tickets to one person on behalf of a group. When the correct amount of cash is on the tray, press the SA button once. Press number 2 button for adult fare, and then press the SA button once more in order to sell 2 tickets of the same value. Now press the SD button. Next, press the SA button once, press number 4 button for child fare, then press the SA button twice more to sell 3 tickets, and now issue 5 blank tickets. Notice that in the upper section of the display it shows SA02. When the passenger inserts the first ticket into the validator, the display will change to SA01. After the second ticket is inserted, the SA01 will disappear from the display. When this happens, you are now able to press the SD button again. The display will now show SA03 in the upper section of the display, and while the 3 tickets are being validated, you are able to key in your next sale and so on. Follow the same procedure whether it be for an adult, child, student, pensioner, unemployed, day tripper for adult or child. There will be times when several students board your bus. Provided they require the same type of ticket, having once pressed the number 5 button for student, for consecutive sales of the same type of ticket, press the SA button once for each sale and then press the SD button. Once a ticket has been inserted into the validator, it cannot be accepted again in the same validator for approximately 8 minutes. During both peak and off-peak periods, when approaching section changes, the S button should be pressed once. Depending on whether you are travelling away from the city, plus, or towards the city, minus, the section number shown on the display will increase or decrease. On arrival at any terminus, press the plus and minus button once only